What teen movie is the epitome of, the older I get, the more I agree with the adult?
Lilo and Stitch. My opinion of Nani changed entirely.
Dirty Dancing. The dad was completely justified in not wanting his teenage daughter to fraternize with a creepy adult male camp dance teacher.
10 Things I Hate About You. When the dad says, "You're 18, you don't know what you want. And you won't know what you want till you're 45, and even if you get it, you'll be too old to use it."
The principal and teacher in Mean Girls. They were just trying to do their damn jobs. In Dirty Dancing, Jerry Orbach just wanted a family summer vacation and instead learned entirely too much about his daughter's sex lives.
Mr. Mosby from Sweet Life. Dude's got it rough. He's just trying to run a hotel, but these kids are hell-bent on sabotaging everything, and to make matters worse they live there, so it's daily occurrence. Edit. These comments have kick-started my nostalgia. It's time to rewatch the show.
Winnie the Pooh. Rabbit was never against playtime. But can you just not do it in his house or garden, you little hellions? Not a movie but Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When I was a kid I thought Uncle Phil was so mean. As an adult I'm like, I'd be fed up with all the antics too. Edit. Ow oof my inbox.
The Little Mermaid.
Rewatching The Simpsons and realized I no longer relate to Bart. I'm a Homer now. Just rewatched a Goofy movie as an adult. Goofy just wanted to spend time with his kid. That was the whole conflict. Just go fishing with your dad, Max. You and Roxanne are breaking up before the sequel anyway. Edit. Since this comment is getting a lot of attention, I wanted to plug one more Disney film you all need to rewatch as adults, Recess the movie. Principal Prickly legit had me in tears, you guys.
Rugrats. The parents were so young and just doing their best. I like it was a group of neighbors that were best friends too. I get really stressed out on their behalf now. Especially the one where Dee Dee just wants to make it home before her banana tree she bought died in the car, but no one could get their shit together.
Mr. Wilson in Dennis the Menace. Seriously, fuck that little miscreant and his parents that turn a blind eye to his shenanigans. Edit. Thank you for the Reddit gold, kind stranger.
Gene Wilder in Original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Stop. Don't. Come back.
The Lion King. Oh, I thought Zazu was just an old fun killer. What do you mean? Simba can't be king. Why would you prevent the kids from going where they want? As an adult and father, I'm 100% Team Zazu.
Not a movie, but that 70s show and Red Foreman. The older I get, the more I realize that teenagers really need a foot in their ass. Not a movie but Malcolm in the Middle. I used to think Lois was a horrible mother who overreacted about everything. Now that I'm older I can see she is just an overworked working-class mother with 5 terribly behaved boys.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Miranda came home from work only to find her deadbeat husband hosting a party with wild animals in her home. During the divorce, he claimed he was unemployable. Then he dressed up like a woman with professional makeup, costume, etc. and watched their kids secretly and tried to kill her new boyfriend.
Not specifically a teen movie, but I watched it as a teen, so get off my lawn. Top Gun. Maverick is the dick who can't follow rules and gets his best friend killed, yet Iceman is the villain for not getting up to hijinks and having an alive co-pilot. Not a movie but Hank from King of the Hill. I find myself saying, "That's asinine," more and more with each passing year.
When I was younger I rooted for Jim's shenanigans in The Office. The older I get the more I relate to Stanley and how he just wants to bide his time until retirement.
The movie, Juno, Jennifer Garner's character is at first portrayed as a square, then you realize she's a mature adult and her husband is a man-baby.
Harry Potter. I used to think of Hermione as my role model. Now that I'm working as a school counselor, my role model is McGonagall. Edit. Wow, didn't expect this kind of reaction. And I got awards. I feel like Neville getting 10 points and winning the House Cup. Thank you so much.
Twilight. Poor Charlie Swan. The Mom and Ice Princess. So you have a daughter who has a talent for and seems to like physics and has a shot of getting into Harvard. This girl throws it away for ice skating where she has only been competing for less than a year, where if she gets injured she's done, and when she reaches 30 she's pretty much done. There is no way she is at an Olympic level at that point, she would need years of training. Hell yes, I would advise against it too.
Way late to the party, but I'm gonna say, Daria. I used to be a disaffected teen too. All my problems were significant other huge. And Daria's parents just didn't understand. I watch it now, and Jake Morgendorffer is who I identify best with. He's supposed to seem silly and crazy and out of touch, but now I just see a guy who worries so much about providing for his family, dealing with insecurity about his masculinity, and trying to relate to his daughters any way he can in spite of being completely baffled by them, because his hypermasculine upbringing left him ill-equipped to relate to girls. Poor Jake. He just wants to be a better dad than his dad. And in spite of his goofiness, I think he does an okay job. American Pie. As a new father, I hope to be like Jim's dad when my little one is a teenager. Caring, loving and a complete embarrassment to them. Haven't watched the movies, but I assume that the movies are similar enough. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Bro, your mom just wants to stop being a housewife and have a job and you complain that she isn't in the house anymore to be your personal slave. When you get from school you don't even greet her, you just give her your backpack. You little shit, do one thing in your life you fucking donkey. Did you ever thank her for anything, Gregory?
Not a movie but the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Still maintain it's a great show, but as a teenager I thought the mother was just so annoying because Buffy had to save the world, but now I'm like damn, her 16-year-old daughter is leaving at all hours of the night and telling her that she has important shit to do. Yeah, no. You're staying home and also probably going to a psychologist. Also, if my 16-year-old daughter was chosen to be a vampire slayer I'd go to the Shadow Men and the Watchers Council and be like, take these fucking powers away from her now, because she's not going to be slaying demons. She's a child. Thanks.
Sadly, the Wonder Years. I always couldn't believe the dad was real, with his pissed-off attitude from work. Now I understand.
When you're an adult you stop identifying so much with SpongeBob and start identifying more with Squidward.
Not a movie but Squidward do be making some good points.
The Breakfast Club. Principal had to waste his Saturday so those assholes could hook up and make the nerd kid do their homework.
Goob. Meet the Robinsons.
Romeo and Juliet. They literally just met and Juliet's supposed to be, what, 14? Also Romeo came to that party pining after Rosalind, until he sees Juliet.
Not a movie but regular show. I remember how much I hated Benson for being a raging old man most of the time. Then as I grow up I realize that if I had a job like him and had workers like Mordecai and Rigby, I'd probably lose my mind too.
Twilight. Charlie was trying so hard to keep Bella comfortable, all while having to deal with a lot of weird stuff happening around the city with little to no real information.
I'm 35 and teen movies from the 80s seem to be the worst offenders. I can't stand the concept of Ferris Bueller as a person. Also, as a huge fantasy fan, I'm starting to agree more and more with the wise wizard, teacher, professor, etc. that's like, hey protagonist, just chill and learn some stuff. Juno. 100%.
I watched 16 Candles recently and I now do not approve of Samantha going anywhere near Jake Ryan.
Mrs. Doubtfire but relating more with Miranda than Daniel. As a kid I didn't understand why she lost her shit when she came home to the petting zoo. Not a movie, but Simon Cowell in American Idol X Factor. As a kid I used to think he was a big meanie. Now as an adult I still think he can be harsh at times, but says what needs to be said. Some of these people are completely deluded and need a wake-up call or they'll pine for this for years to come.
Not a teen movie, but Father of the Bride. Watching it as a kid, Steve Martin seemed like an old grump. Rewatching it as an adult, holy shit he is the only sane person in that movie.
Twilight New Moon. As a 12-year-old Edward's abandonment of Bella was regrettable but understandable. As an adult I don't understand why anyone involved thought it was a good idea and I'm angry that Carlisle and Esme did nothing to stop their perpetually frozen at 17 years old son from being so stupid. Edward will forever have the mind of a 17-year-old. He will forever be stuck in that not quite grown-up state of mind. He should never have been allowed to make that decision. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That kid got away with everything. I bet the principal wishes he had gotten away with everything.
Home Alone is getting harder and harder to watch because Kevin is such a piece of shit to his parents. However, their parenting style is equally shitty, so is it really his fault? I just want the wet bandits to make amends stealing their belongings.
More recent one but Spider-Man Homecoming. We're meant to see Vulture as the bad guy and Spidey as the hero. I can't help but relate to Vulture though. Dude had a job to do and got screwed over by the government and Stark. Makes me think every time that if Vulture and his crew could have signed NDA agreements, everyone would have won. Vulture gets to keep working with his crew and make money, and the government and Stark still get to keep the tech and do whatever with it, and the fate of the arms trade wouldn't have been left to a 15-year-old kid who ended up with a building dropped on him. ETA. This movie also made me realize that a lot of the crap that had happened in the MCU was because of Stark's actions.
Star Wars. Luke, did you ever stop to think that maybe Obi-Wan and Yoda are right and it's dumb to try and fight Vader, one of the most powerful Sith Lords ever, on your own to save your friends in Bespin? Or even before that, your uncle is right. Don't join the Imperial Army, you idiot. You'll end up killed.
Not a teen movie, but The Simpsons. When I was a kid, I identified with Bart. As far as I was concerned, it was a show about Bart and everyone else was just a bit part. But unlike anything else I watched, my dad loved it too. I didn't really understand, but it meant I got to watch more Simpsons, so great. I watched some clips recently, at about the same age my dad was, and suddenly the person I identified with was Homer. I mean, he's a buffoon, but he's about the same age as me, has young kids like me, and a lot of the things that affect him are comic exaggerations of the real issues in my life. For me, it's now the Homer show and Bart is just the kid. So it took a couple of decades, but I get now what my dad saw in it.
Not a teen movie, but Rent. Seriously, get a job and pay rent like everyone else, you shiftless layabout squatter assholes.